Welcome back. We're being joined now by Lance Chaffin from Midwest Entertainment Pro Wrestling.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell me where you're located.
We're located at 100 West Main, Mount Hope, Kansas right now.
Okay.
In my hometown, we just bought the local historic hotel in town, and so we've started providing professional wrestling training out of Mount Hope.
So how far is that from Wichita?
It's about a 12-minute drive on 96 Highway right west of Mays, so it's not too far. It's right in between Wichita and Hutch, so we've kind of got the traffic from both ways, and it really does us well out there.
Very cool.
It's nice to be wrestling at home.
Yeah, I'll bet it is. So you have an event coming up in April for...
Yes, this last weekend we just got done with March the 25th. We had a big professional wrestling show, Mount Hope's very first ever wrestling show. And that we had such a great turnout and so many people came out to that show that we decided we would turn around and we'd do it again in April. So April the 29th, doors open at 6, bell time starts at 7. There's concessions with the Rally Dogs, Pat from Shaken or Stirred, bartending companies there. Now it is a family-friendly show, but adult beverages will be served. We've got all kinds of fun and family entertainment going on that night. It's really a show that you don't want to miss.
Very cool. So, and I understand that earlier in the day you're going to have a seminar.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. That noon hour, that day of the show, April the 29th, that's Saturday. Professional wrestling seminar. So if anybody thinks they have what it takes to step in the ring with the Mangler, they can come on down and see if they have what it takes.
So, and what does that cost them?
$25. It's we for tryouts we charge $50, but for the seminars before the show we really wanted to cut that price down and make it more affordable so anybody could get in there. And so for $25 you get a 2-hour seminar. It's a crash course of what wrestling's all about, what it's like to take the basic back bump, fall on your back in the ring, hit the ropes, learn to lock up. It's a really fun experience for some of the people who have always loved the aspect of the art form of professional wrestling.
So the show that is that evening, what is the price of admission for that?
The price of admission is $7 for children, $10 for adults. For professional wrestling, it's decently cheap. And as far as ticket prices go, we wanted to keep it affordable because we wanted to make it affordable for as many people to come as they possibly could.
Well, yeah, because if you're going to be bringing the whole family,
yes,
then
absolutely,
that makes it's comparable to going to a movie.
And afterwards, if you want to stick around and head downtown into Mount Hope at the Old Jewel, we're doing an after party. And this whole event's sponsored by Next Step Estates and Pat from Shaken or Stirred, a Lucky Spot Smoke Shop and Family Dining. We want to give a big thank you to those guys as well as the city of Mount Hope for letting us do this here in my hometown.
Very cool. So where is the venue?
The venue is straight across the highway from 96 Highway. It's as you get to the intersection of Ohio and 96 Highway, it's straight on the north side of the highway. We've got a big billboard out there on it that says MWE Pro Wrestling Live, and you really can't miss it.
I was going to say Mount Hope isn't that big, so you couldn't miss it.
No, drive around a couple times, you'll find it twice.
That's right. So tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, my background, in 2009, I moved to Clearwater, Florida, where I began training with Hulk Hogan, Brian Knobbs, Ric Flair, some of those guys at their professional wrestling school in Clearwater. I came home in 2012 due to an injury, and I decided I would start my own professional wrestling school here in Wichita. We ran that successfully since 2012, and when we bought that hotel in Mount Hope, I decided I'd take somewhat of a gamble and try to move home with my wrestling promotion, and wasn't sure how the small town was going to react to it. But we've got so much positive feedback that I'm hoping to run Mount Hope on a regular basis.
Well, that's very cool. So if people want to be involved in your classes on a regular basis, they contact you?
Yes, they can look us up on Facebook at Midwest Entertainment Wrestling. They can give us a phone call at 316-302-4525, or they can look us up online at mweprowrestling.com.
Okay. And the information is there, or at least they can call and get the information.
Yeah, from one of those things, all of the information will be provided, and they can go ahead and check us out and hopefully come on down and see if they have what it takes.
I don't know if you probably realize this. We were involved with the Sunflower Wrestling for a while.
Yes.
And that was really kind of fun. It really was.
Yes.
And the people that come to watch wrestling they're really fans. I mean,
they sure are.
devout fans.
Yes, 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 they are.
And they usually do bring the whole family.
Oh yes, and I absolutely love my wrestling fans. Without them, I obviously wouldn't be able to do what I do. And there's a chance that night too to meet the Mangler and some of the other wrestlers that night at the meet and greet downtown. So we really wanted to provide that family friendly atmosphere where the wrestlers, you could see what they're doing out there on stage, but at the same time you could go and hang out with them and have a conversation with them at the end of the night.
So will any of your former students be wrestling?
I don't have an exact count in my head, but yes, there will be several of them. In fact, a good portion of the show is actually my former trainees.
Very cool. And of course, there will be concessions and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, Rally Dogs will be there serving your hot dogs and things like that. We have Pat from Shaken or Stirred with the alcoholic beverages, and then we have the MWE merchandise booth. So those three things, make sure you check those out. Get your MWE wear, like my shirt right here. Make sure you grab your hot dog and a nice toasty drink if you're of age, and have a good time.
Very cool. Wrestling is, it's been controversial for a lot of people because, people are saying it's fake or it's they're not really hurting each other.
Right.
But, it's a contact sport.
It is a contact sport. The way Hulk Hogan explained it to me was he said professional wrestling is a fine art. And so there's a lot of physicality that goes into it.
Yeah.
There is a decent amount of, choreographed art that goes into it.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, you really have to know what to expect to be able to get in a ring with a guy that's 300 pounds and be able to pick a guy up above your head and put him down on that mat. It's not easy on the body. I'm 26 years old. I've been in it for 8 years, and I feel like I've been in it for about 80 years. So, it's wearing and tearing on me, and I've been very safe and protected myself the whole time. So that's what we really pride ourselves on doing as far as training goes, is providing the guys with enough quality training that they can protect themselves and others in the ring and have longevity in their career.
Right. Well, because to me, it is an entertainment sport, and so you don't really want to. You want to see the guys fight, but you don't necessarily want to see somebody get hurt. You want, but I think people.
But it does happen.
Well, yeah, and I think people enjoy the spectacle of seeing somebody get slammed in the ring and that type
absolutely.
of stuff.
I'll tell you, whenever you go to a live event, it's like nothing you've ever seen on TV before. I was the biggest fan of professional wrestling, but until I got to my very first professional wrestling show at the Kansas Coliseum when I was maybe 8, it was like nothing I'd ever seen before, and I knew that day that I was going to be a professional wrestler. And I planned it, and I tried it, and I kept on, plugging away at it, and eventually, here I am now, 8 years later, and I can say that I'm a professional wrestler.
Did you, I'll bet you really enjoyed your time down in Florida.
It was a life experience I would never take back, and I loved every minute of it.
Sure. Well, thanks for joining us, Lance.
Thank you very much.
It's a real pleasure having you here.
Nice to be back.
And we'll be back with more Your Hour, so stay with us.